Lots of surprises. We're going to get into it, but first, let me introduce my co-host, McNulty.
How you doing, Primetime?
I'm doing good, man. What'd you think of the show?
I thought it was a good show. I think
Yeah,
I think I think it was nearly impossible to try to meet the expectations of what everyone was thinking because there
yeah,
was like how many people? Like 9 people released from the WWE. Everyone was expecting big surprises, and I think aside from some audio technical issues, I think Impact really delivered.
yeah. So before this show started, I said it was going to be the pay-per-view of the year. I don't think it was the pay-per-view of the year. It started off like it was going to be the pay-per-view of the year. It started off great. The first match was the Rascals Open Challenge, and who was the challengers? You were thinking Rhino and Heath.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe the Good Brothers. It was the Motor City Machine Guns, and they looked great.
Um, I think I always forget how damn good Alex Shelley is.
Yeah,
Every time.
man, they were awesome. There was a couple times where I thought, oh man, they're going to put the Rascals over, and I was like, they can't do that. And then I started thinking, oh, it's like a one shot deal for the Motor City Machine Guns. But no, they pulled off victory. They looked fantastic. They both looked like they were in great shape.
I think one thing about my professional wrestlers is that I'm not in the best shape at all, but I expect my pro wrestlers to be in the best shape. And the Motor City Machine Guns came out looking like $1 million. Great. I mean, bodies would look great. Their moveset looked great. It's like, and you see the schools, and you just realize like one is an okay tag team, and one is an upper echelon tag team.
Yeah.
And the Motors and the Guns did not disappoint. They were just fantastic the entire match, and it made me like nothing excites me more as a wrestling fan than good and great tag team wrestling. And the
Yeah.
Guns just made me remember why I love it.
So we started the night off with one surprise, the Motor City Machine Guns. Then we went into the second match for the TNA World Title. They kept stressing not really a world. Well, Josh Matthews kept stressing not a world title match. This match was a lot of fun. Moose against Tommy Dreamer. They called it an old school rules, basically a hardcore match. Tommy Dreamer got the crap beat out of him.
It was one thing after another. Like it's been a long time since I've seen Moose wrestle. I think the last time I watched him wrestle was back maybe at a House of Hardcore event. I think it was when the Impact taping we went to.
Oh yeah.
And I just and you realize he's so massive and the things that he's done, but he never really like had a character who's more just like one arm Moose. And now this is the Moose that I think is really entertaining to watch. I think he's really found his footing here in Impact. I think the way he trash talked Tommy, the way he felt like he was a wrestling god, it was really the most charisma I've seen from him ever.
And Don Callis's commentary, I felt hammer home the point that that Moose is like a star. Don Callis was channeling his inner Bobby Heenan tonight, I thought, with some of his one-liners. But Tommy Dreamer took a drop kick from Moose.
Right in the face and smacked the kendo stick right on his cheek where I know Dreamer, the professional that he is, played it up and he's like, I think it's broken. I think it's broken. But for a minute there, I turned to Mark and I'm like, I think it may be broken.
Yeah, he had a big welt on his face, right on his cheek. And then he took thumbtacks to the face.
The best part of the match was when Moose was trying to push his face on the tacks. He's like, no, goddamn, no. And like he powered back, but ultimately like took it before he took that what's that? I don't know what he calls his spear, but it's an awesome looking move where he flips through it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his finisher is called. Was it this match or was it the Machine Guns match where there was almost a count out and they started playing?
Oh, it was the very first match. They played moon music.
Yeah, like there was almost a count out or something, and then the music got like real eerie. I was like, are they playing a soundtrack now? It was funny, But going back to the Moose Tommy Dreamer match, Tommy got annihilated. Moose dominated the whole match. Moose gets the win. So it sounded like a squash match, but it was really enjoyable. So like we're starting off two great matches, and then we come to like the mood killer. We get the knockouts gauntlet match. Man, this was brutal to get through. It was basically everyone's girlfriend or wife in this match.
Every time someone else came out, it's their best friend and their best friend. And at one point, Mark turned to me and very soft spoken and said, "Seems like everyone's got a friend in this match." And it was just the comments. I think like Matthews like was blowing out his voice from like trying to make the excitement for the match. And I was on Twitter during this match, just like reading, trying to catch to see what others are saying. And people like him help out Matthews, and I'm like, man, I'm surprised he didn't fall asleep, because if I didn't have my phone, like it started off hot with Tasha Steelz and Kylie Ray, and I was really enjoying the match. But then, as more competitors came out, you could just see the inexperience of a lot of the wrestlers in there, like Katie Forbes. Oh,
she had no business being in that match.
She twerked in the middle of the match, and I was just like, Jesus Christ! Like, I go hard on AEW's women division on the Pod Gods every Thursday, Friday when we put out there. But I mean, I'm gonna go hard on Impact. Kylie Ray is, I mean. We'll get to the Impact, the Knockouts Championship match, which was a slammer. I love that match, but outside of Smiley Kylie Ray and like Akira Hogan and Taya Valkyrie, you could just tell who had a presence and then who had no business being in there.
Plus, we got two run-ins from Johnny Bravo. First time he comes out dressed as Taya Valkyrie, and they announce him as Taya. And then he gets eliminated as Taya, but then Taya comes out herself. And then he comes back in dressed as Rosemary, and he was some sort of entertainment in the match, much needed entertainment.
I mean, I like and I was really intrigued with the format of the match. I like how it was like, oh, someone's getting flipped. It was like a Royal Rumble spot, over the top rope, eliminated, and the final two competitors are going to go at it. And the match, I thought, oh, that's great, because Kylie Ray was second overall, and that was my pick to win. So I was really rooting for it, and I think she does Bayley better than Bayley. So I was really excited to see them give her the win. I like the fact that they had that final match, but damn, did it take a fucking long time to get there?
Yeah, it came down to Taya, Rosemary, Kylie, and Kimberly. I popped Phil, and I said Kimberly looked like Melissa Joan Hart times. She looks like Melissa Joan Hart, like a tough Melissa Joan Hart. I've been aware of Kimberly before, but that's like the first time I ever noticed her resemblance to Melissa Joan Hart.
And finding hard drugs or something, because man, that was man. I think we're underselling the fact how brutal that was to get through, because even afterwards, like during the match, I got up to grab some pizza. Hopefully we get a little Caesar sponsorship. We had some LCs here, and so I was really excited, and then during the match, I'm like, I need a pizza break and a piss break, and it just took forever.
Yeah, so Kylie Ray got the win. She's the number one contender now. And like after that match was over, I was like, this was really a mood killer. I can't even remember. It took a while for the show to pick back up after that. I can't even remember what the next match was.
I think the match, and I think it was Callahan and Shamrock versus the North.
Oh, but Heath.
Oh yeah, that's right. Heath had a run-in, and then after the run-in, like he hopped the barricade, but you could hear what the fuck he was saying, because he had we're having audio issues with the microphone, and then some job guy came out. I don't know his name.
Rohit Raju.
That's it. And he took a move, and then that was it. But again, I felt like I couldn't even get into Heath's turn because like right after that match, they really needed the audio to bring us back.
It was disappointing. Like Keith was one of the guys I was looking forward to seeing, and to him come out and have audio issues. I mean, you could hear him, but it sounded all muffled and stuff. But anyway, he goes back. I think they have the tag match after this with Callahan and Shamrock. But there's a little backstage stuff with Heath later, and we'll just cover that now. He runs into Rhino, his old SmackDown tag team champion partner, and they have a little reunion. And then Scott D'Amore comes out, and he congratulates. He tells him he looks great, and he was like, "There's just one thing. You're not signed here. You're not supposed to be here. So you have to go."
And I think that's what, and I don't care that they're rehashing old WWE storyline, because I think that's when he was at his best, when he was the free agent and he was earning his opportunities. So for some different style of introducing a WWE guy who was like, go, I'm glad that they're making him earn his shot, because it seems just that's who he is as a character. So
before he left, Rhino told him to just show up Tuesday. He'll get him in the building and figure things out. So tune in Tuesday. It looks like he's going to be on Impact. Now we got the tag team championship match. The North defended it against Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan. The North.
Hold on. Who was it? Was it Ken Shamrock or what? Or I think you had a different name for
Buff Al Bundy. Buff Bundy. he in his older age, Ken Shamrock's looking more and more like Al Bundy. If you hadn't heard, he scored 4 touchdowns for Polkai back in the day.
I'm gonna say this again. Ken Shamrock had a rockin' body, like a shamrockin' body.
Yeah.
Like I'm half that man's age, and I'm never going to be in the physical shape that he is in right now.
Yeah.
And he didn't have the stamina, but it's good to see Ken Shamrock. But like I said on our last episode of the Pod Gods, I said I have no clue who the North is. I'm glad that I tuned in, because the North is a great freaking tag team. From the time they came in with the matching jackets, and they had the posing, it felt more authentic and genuine than even FTR when they do it. So I just felt these guys were a tag team. Ethan Page is a fucking star. Like, I've never seen Ethan Page wrestle. I didn't even know his name. Like, I learned his name through the match, because he goes to camera, he's like, "Hey, Ken, you like this view?" And then he flexes. He's like, "You like it even more now." And I'm just like, this is a guy I love the ego heels, and that was just
with the North. Josh Alexander, he's the badass, and Ethan Page is the big mouth who trash talks and then hides behind Josh. But you don't know, you probably don't know this, but the way they introduced Ethan Page into Impact years ago, he was Joseph Park's brother or cousin, Ethan Park, and Joseph Park managed him.
So he's really come a long way.
Yeah.
Like I said, it made me like, I love tag team wrestling. I think AEW has the best tag team wrestling in the world, and I was watching that, and as an AEW mark, I was like, I love to see the North go up against those tag teams in AEW. But I think and I've learned that they were tag champs for over a year now. I say more power to them. I hope and I'm going to actually turn in Tuesday to watch them and versus Motor City Machine Guns for the tag test, because that just looks like a banger of a match.
So the North got the win. Callahan and Shamrock kept getting in disagreements. It caused them to lose. But after the match, Ethan Page and Josh, they started talking, saying how they're the greatest team. They don't get any recognition. And then the Motor City Machine Guns came out, and they were like, the thing is, when you're the greatest, you don't have to come out and say you're the greatest. You guys are good, but we'll find out Tuesday who the greatest is. So that's going to be a great match.
It was a nice surprise too because I turned to Mark and I was like, "Hey, Primetime, you think the Good Brothers are coming out?" And I was glad that it wasn't, and I'm glad that they were wrapping up. Just from the beginning, they were tying that back in. I like a lot of continuity in my wrestling, and I like the fact that when I say TNA Impact, I want them to push their stars first. So I really like the fact that the Good Brothers didn't come out at all. They're sort of legitimizing TNA, now Impact Tag Team Wrestling.
So after this match was the X Division title match. Willie Mack defeated against Chris Bay, and I'm going to say the biggest star in this storyline is Johnny Swinger.
We were watching the match, and I like Willie Mack, and I think this was another. I think this was the match that was after. Was this the match after the Women's Gauntlet? I can't even remember because I just felt like I should have been more into this match than I wasn't. But we'll go check that. But I like Willie Mack as a performer. It's the first time I'm really seeing him. I watched some of him and Morrison go at it. So I liked those matches, but I never really concentrated on because he never led the match in offense. It was normally Morrison. So I was a big fan of Willie Mack during this match, but Swinger, man, those promos and him coming in earlier, taking Anderson's limo there,
he did the little brother handshake and not so tight. He's hilarious. It's funny that I watched him in the 90s as a job guy for WCW Saturday Night, and then he went on to ECW and had a little bit of success, and now 20 some years later he's now a featured player on Impact Wrestling. It's crazy.
And again, I'm gonna say it till I'm blue in the face. You see the shape that guy was in?
Yeah.
One thing I've learned, and I think this is maybe this is what wrestling needs. These younger guys need to look at some of these older guys and see the legitimacy to it. The Motor City Machine Guns bring a legitimacy to it. And Moose, I remember he's getting abs, right? You see, he was an offensive lineman. Yeah. That's a hard position to actually get into shape from. We see Baron Corbin on the WWE who's still trying. It got so bad where he just wore a shirt because he can't actually get himself into shape, and Moose is freaking doing it. So you see who the legitimate guys are, and they just look like stars. And it's I think, and I'm gonna go in on the Rascals. I was not impressed by any three of them, whether it be their tag match, whether it be Trey in the main event. I just saw this guy and I'm just he just looks like an indie wrestler, and I feel like that's. I don't mean that in any slight to any indie wrestler. I just mean it in a slight to Trey.
So, Chris Bay won the X Division. You called it, and why? Why did you know he was gonna lose?
Because it's gonna be Return of the Mac, baby. We're gonna get those on T-shirts, bumper stickers. I will make once he gets that X Division, I will get a Return of the Mac T-shirt. We're gonna go in on it. I will be Willie Mack's biggest mark from this point on for Return of the Mac.
So now we're down to two matches left. The women's title match, and Jordan Grace defended against Deonna Purrazzo. We both thought Jordan Grace was going to retain. We were both wrong.
And I think because we both think the old TNA, and we thought this would be different, where a WWE cast-off would be sent away they get cut, and then they go to Impact and they win the championship, and you just be like, it just feels like it devalues their homegrown stars. And I think they really tried to bring home with, especially Deonna Purrazzo, who is fantastic technical wrestler. Watching that match, I was in awe of her technical ability. I thought her and Jordan Grace, their power versus precision was such a good matchup that I sort of forgot that she was a WWE cast-off, because she's jobbing Anaya and Charlotte, and you just realize she has that potential. But I think for the win, probably. I like Jordan Grace as a competitor. I think she's a great. I don't know if it's just a transition to get to Kylie Ray, but I think that you can't. But in that same effect, I think you have to have her have a lengthy title run if you're beating a homegrown talent with Jordan Grace. And I know they tried to Don Callis did a very good job of always reminding us that she was in Impact first. Impact first. She was an Impact Wrestling signing. She was an Impact Wrestling star before she went to like the Stanford Supermax, right? So they tried to push home that she was Impact, and this is the true version of her.
And she gets the clean victory. She made Jordan Grace tap out. So that was surprising. Do you think this is the last we see of Jordan Grace in Impact?
I don't know. I mean, if she'd be a welcome addition to AEW, but maybe not. I don't think so. It all depends. I think she could be a stalwart of that division, but it all depends on if she wants to stay with Impact to help sort of revitalize the product. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't know. I have a feeling like the way she lost and how quickly she got out of the ring. I'm going to say we're not going to see her in Impact anymore. I think she's out of the storyline. We're going to have a run-in by my dog, I think. No, but yeah, I think we're not going to see Jordan Grace anymore. Probably, if I had to pick AEW, I think she'd be a big addition there.
I've been asking for weeks.
Yeah.
For weeks. I want a star in the women's division. Jordan Grace is 100% star.
So we had one more match, the main event for the Impact World title. Eddie Edwards, my guy, Trey from the Rascals, and Ace Austin with the mystery fourth opponent. And we're waiting for the announcement, and it's Rich Swann. And you just hear like the wah, wah, wah. They're fortunate that they were in an empty arena because the fans would have booed this. I mean, I like Rich Swann. He's great. But this isn't the type of surprise we were hoping for. And he gets in the ring. And then we get the next surprise. Eric Young returns. And he has this cool Jason Voorhees mask and gear. And he even joked. He said, "What did he say? Rich Swann was the
letdown, and I'm the true surprise."
Yeah.
Oh, the reward. He's the letdown. I'm the reward.
So the 4-way becomes a 5-way, like it originally was supposed to be, and we weren't really sure on the rules until the first person was eliminated. So it's an elimination match. So EY he eliminated Trey. With a pile driver that
like a jumping, spinning pile driver. My God, I grabbed my neck afterwards. It was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I made the joke that I said Eric Young looks beat down by the world, but that may add into his character because he looked insane during when he was eliminated.
Yeah, I was wondering what type of Eric Young we would get. Would we get like insane Eric Young? Would we get goofy EY from the old Impact days, or we would get like a serious one from his World Elite days. But no, we got insane Eric Young. He got pinned by Rich Swann, so he was the second person eliminated, and he flipped out and he beat up Rich Swann, attacked his injured knee, hit it with a chair a bunch of times, and Swann was hobbling. He could barely defend himself. Ace Austin got the pinfall on him. So it comes down to Eddie and Ace, and I'm feeling good at this point. I'm like, yeah, my guy's going to win. And yeah, Eddie pulls it off. Eddie's the new Impact World Champion. But then Madman Fulton comes out. He's Ace Austin's heater. He comes out and he starts beating up Eddie. And that's when the music hits. And we were thinking, it's like, oh, the Good Brothers haven't come out yet. So they're going to come out with whoever the person they were hinting at wasn't coming alone. And my thought was Bully Ray, and it was going to be the reformation of Aces and Eights. You were thinking maybe EC3.
Yeah, I was thinking something, and I got to the point where I thought we're so stupid. Aces and Eights. Ace his name is fucking Ace. He's got to be like, maybe it's a new reformation. I think Don Callis did a great job of saying, oh, these guys will be.
Yeah, so Man Fulton and Ace Austin was like, "Oh, you guys want a piece of Eddie?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And Carl Anderson shakes Ace Austin's hand and then pulls him in for a cutter. They help Eddie up. The three of them clean house. They throw the beers in. And they celebrate, and I'm just waiting for the Good Brothers to turn on
Me
Eddie.
too.
I was waiting for him to smash the beers on his head, but no, they go off the air with Eddie on the turnbuckle drinking the beer, and then it just like cuts to black, and you get like the three
Slashes.
yeah, the three slashes that we've been seeing in EC3's promos lately, and then the camera comes back on, and we're on the back of EC3, and he turns around and he looks serious and pissed off, and that's how we go off the air.
And I'm excited because I think not only did WWE drop the ball with him first time, then they had him again. And they dropped the ball again with him. And it's like, what is it? And I swear it's like Triple H was like, this guy's going to be something, right? And then all of a sudden, Vince found out what the C in EC3 stood for, and he's like, I don't want this guy. And I love his Twitter promos have been fire. He just brings that star presence. And I think it's cool because I think they're really pushing it. Because the fact that I really like the fact that they're saying that Gallows and Guns and Gallows are your two stars. These are your guys who are going to be Impact Wrestling's cornerstone. And I like when a tag team is the cornerstone of any promotion. Like that's what got me first excited about AEW, is because I followed the Bucks like throughout their career, and I was so excited. Like they were coming to the main audience, to the main audience with TNT and AEW, and it felt like they were pushing other guys instead of them. I like the fact that Impact's like, nope. Like, we don't care that they're WWE guys because you understand that they are BCOG. Like, they are the Bullet Club. This is how they should be. And they just worked themselves over and like, being just stars on their own with their podcast with Chad Too Bad and Tex Ferguson, that you genuinely like these guys, and albeit where they came from, you want to see them on your television screens.
So we'll go over it again. Here are your surprises. Motor City Machine Guns. Heath. You're just calling him Heath for now. The Good Brothers, Eric Young, and EC3. Yeah. So we got 5, 6 if you count the tag team as 2 people. So that's what we were rumored, that like 5 new signings. So it definitely paid off.
Do you think? I know that Miro, formerly known as Rusev, he got COVID-19, right? Do you think he was going to be one of those surprises?
I don't know. Jim Ross was really high on Miro, saying that's the one guy AEW should hire. So I don't know if he had. I would think he would have some stroke in AEW and have Tony Khan's ear. So I have a feeling like that's where he was headed. But he would have been a good choice too to throw in that main event.
But I'm gonna applaud Impact Wrestling for whoever, all the cast-offs, if you will, that were sent off from WWE. They were proud to say that they are Impact guys. So the EC3 Impact. I'm glad Eddie Edwards took the title, because you got to give the guy who's been there the longest the belt. You know, as much as I was rooting for EC3 to come in, or Ace Austin, I think Eddie Edwards is the smart choice. I think I think if you pair him up with the Good Brothers, right, you're only going to get magic from the 3 of those guys. So I think them pushing Deonna Purrazzo as a former Impact, I think it was good all around that they brought in their guys.
Do you remember when Eddie Edwards debuted for TNA?
Yeah.
Him and Davey Richards were like the muscle for MVP. Man, that seems like forever ago.
You know, I think they said it was 9 years ago, I think 2 days ago, that CM Punk fought John Cena in the Money in the Bank match where he took the title away. And then you can go further back than that match. So my God, it makes you feel, you know, for a company that's continuously said to be on its deathbed, they're just like a fucking zombie. They're never gonna die.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Eddie. I've gotten to know him the last couple of years, do a kids book with him, and he's a good dude. So I'm happy for him. I hope it's a long title run. I wonder what program they'll go into. Do you think it's him and EC3?
No, I think EC3 was more or less just we want to do one more surprise. I think they'll go. I think they may continue a little bit with Ace Austin.
Yeah.
And Eddie Edwards. I won't be surprised if Ace does capture the title from him sooner rather than later. I think it was a good pay-per-view moment to have Eddie win. So I won't be surprised maybe in October when Bound for Glory comes in. But I think I stick with the Ace Austin feud because you can just tell that kid, 23 years old, is a phenom. Like he just gets it. Like his selling when they throw through the table, you could actually hear him still grunting as the action was going on in the middle of the ring. And then at the end when he's like, "Oh, you know who we are," and like obviously, if you were tuning in for the first time and never saw Ace Austin, right, or Madman Fulton, you'd be like, "No, they don't know." And I think that just adds the humor in the.
He carries himself as a star. We saw him 2 years ago, WrestleMania weekend on a it was an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view, but it was held at Wrestle Pro in Rahway, and he was in an X Division match. And was it your first time seeing him?
Yeah, first time seeing him.
Yeah, he dove off. They had the Ultimate X match, and he was on the very top of the scaffold, and he dove off.
And he landed it perfectly. And I was just like, man, that guy made me a fan right then and there because, I mean, besides him being an obvious nod to Gambit, most of his attire and shtick and the card and gimmick, that won my heart over. But just watching him in the ring, you're just like, man, this kid gets it. So I'm rooting for him. But I think it was definitely the smarter choice and the best choice to have Eddie win.
Yeah, definitely. So it seems like it's going to be a hot show for Impact on Tuesday. We might have to both watch it and cover it.
I think so. I think maybe we'll do a AEW Impact sort of review show. Let's support the little guys.
Yeah, man. I've always loved Impact. I think like when we first became friends, like Impact was what we were talking about with the Broken Hardys and all the craziness.
They always, when they have the freedom to do things, it always seems to be the best choices, and they make a lot of moments in wrestling. Like I think when they split up the Dudley Boys like years ago, and then Bully Ray left for TNA, we both said maybe a year ago, we both said Bully Ray over Bubba Ray because we just enjoyed him as a single star, and we were never so high on the Dudleys. But I think an Aces and Eights, we loved that was a homegrown faction. Like we liked, like I remember one of our first conversations at the Camden Comic-Con, we talked about Sting and drunk Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
So I think Impact has been like a bonding experience for us. I mean, man, and I'm glad to see that. Oh, and I think it plays well. Just thinking about it, Matt Hardy was in the Stanford Supermax for a while, and now he's been great since he's come to AEW. So who knows? Maybe Deanna Prazo is gonna. I mean, she won me over tonight, so I'm excited.
She looked great. So the one thing that I was disappointed about, I'm a huge Aces and Eights fan. I was going to get dressed up. I had my vest. I was looking for my Aces and Eights hat. I couldn't find it, so I just threw on a black hat. But I was so hoping to hear Bully Ray say, "Do you know who I am?" He was the best. But Phil, where can people find you at?
You can find my wrestling hot takes at Animated Phil on Twitter. I forgot to post it today, but I'll post it probably on Monday. I have 2 designs for the Pod God stuff, and you find that on Instagram at Animated Phil.
And you guys can find me at Coney Waves on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find us probably on Friday, and we'll be talking about Impact and AEW. Thanks for watching, guys.